So hello everyone and welcome back to the Deercast. This episode, I think what episode are we on now actually?
I've lost track.
It's 20 something.
Yeah.
We're getting on them. We are again very kindly joined by David Foxy Freer from the Stalking Show. And we thought we'd have a quick chat to David today just to give us a bit of a rundown of what's in store for the Stalking Show 2024. And hopefully David can give us a bit of insight as to what's going to be new, what's going to be going on, and everything exciting that we're going to encounter.
It's almost become a bit of an annual tradition, because we caught up with you last year, David, to find out what was kind of new and exciting at the Stalking Show, and you got us all like revved up for it because it was bigger than the year before. And I shouldn't spoil too much, and I'm not sure what I'm allowed to say, but it sounds like it's going to be bigger than last year as well.
Yeah, well, first of all, guys, thanks ever so much for having me on, and much appreciate what you do and the promotion you do for us. But yes, absolutely right. Where I'm at, I'm super excited, very excited for the show, but also very apprehensive of where the amount of work we've still got to do to get everything to all fit into the jigsaw puzzle. You're absolutely right. Stalking Show, as we probably didn't really realise to the extent I never realised the extent of the material. Let me use is out there in the world that is actually coming forward. So just to put it in perspective, when we first started the Stalking Show. First show was in 2022, April 2022. We had roughly around about 94, 95 trading stands, all shapes and sizes. That's from like the smallest 3 metre by 3 metre stand from a small businessman that might have been making sticks or knives or something like that, right up to the big guys, Highland Outdoors, GMK, so and what have you. So that was about 94 stands. We're now moving into 2024. I've lost a year. We will 100% hit the 250 stands by we get to this April, and we are being, and that is even after being very, very selective of making sure that we have a criteria here in the office. The girls know it. I know it. If they're unsure, they bat it over to me, and we have a debate about it. Does it fit what we want with the Stalking Show? If it doesn't, we try and be very diplomatic and send the prospective inquiry a very nice sort of generic letter and saying thanks very much, but it doesn't fit what we do. And as I was just briefly talking to you guys earlier, we are quite inundated with these various stands. Could be something that's kind of a bit 50-50, but we know what we want, and we know where we want to take. We think we know where we want to take the Stalking Show, and if it fits, yes, you're in. If it doesn't, but also equally, we also don't want to overdo something as well. So for argument's sake, the two big things for us is handmade knives, and you're both nodding there, and there are so many, all wonderful, don't get me wrong, but you can only have so many handmade knives. The big ones that we all know, Ember Leaf and Manor and James Penny knives and all the others. We've got quite a lot of. We've now shut the door on handmade knives. I think we've got sort of like 10 handmade knife makers.
Blimey.
I know, and it's crazy. And there's so many more out there. But we are where we are. You can only have so many. Also retailers. So retailers selling rifles, optics, thermals, this sort of thing. You can only have so many. And then it can get a little bit repetitive. So we've sort of hit that balance of where we're at now. I know we've hopefully not upset, but I know we've disappointed some like major retailers out there that all three of us know very well throughout the industry, and we've just had to say to them, really sorry at the minute, but 2024, we're not taking any more retailers. What is the point of taking more retailers that are just sort of, you know, giving us the same thing? You know, we've got some like first class retailers that are there, and we've got what we need, and you know, so yeah, so it's really exciting.
And the great thing from a visitor's point of view is that, and I can probably say this, whereas David, you probably can't, is that from a visitor's point of view, it means when you actually come to the show, it's not like a lot of the other country shows that are out there, where it's just, they're just stands and stands of people selling crap that have got absolutely nothing to do with the original kind of purpose of the show, if you know what I mean. Like if you come to the Stalking Show, you are going to be able to see and buy deer stalking related kit. There's nothing there that's sort of ancillary, and from a visitor's point of view, that's amazing, because that's what you go there for.
Yeah, you know, yeah, exactly. You know, off the record, you hit the button on the head. I'm not going to say that, because all the shows are important out there and they all have a place. But you know, just as I pointed out, when we set out on this journey and we thought about, you know, let's do this thing called Stalking Show, we just had a vision of what we hoped and you know, what we wanted to achieve, and hopefully so far, all I can say, so far so good. You know, when we get negative feedback, or when we get feedback that, you know, come on guys, you're going in the wrong direction, then we'll stop and take a look. Why we're getting the feedback that we get, and you know, we've had so many lovely messages after the two shows that's previously gone, and the continued comments that, you know, people are saying that, you know, don't change it, you know, the wheel's not broken, go in the right direction. You know, yeah, so exactly right, Tom, you know, that's the way we want to go. So and that's what hopefully, you know, we can give to the visitor that's well, I will personally guarantee that's what we will give to the visitor that comes. You turn up, and I promise you, as you very rightly said, we will not waste your time with a load of crap.
Are you ready for some negative feedback this year, though? Because you've allowed us to have a stand, which is definitely going to generate some negative feedback when some poor person comes and visits us, 2 mugs on the stand.
No, I don't see that in any way. No, having you guys on board, and having any person on board or organisation or anything that is positive to what we're doing and promotes what we all enjoy. No, on the contrary. No, definitely not. You're right up there, guys. So we're pleased to have you, and yeah, you've been there from the word go. We'll support you. You support us. So yeah, good stuff.
That's very kind of you, David. Well, we're going to be there with our own stand on the Stalking Show. If no one listening didn't know that already, so if you see us there, then please do find us and come out and say hello. And David, one thing I wanted to ask you, we were talking earlier about the sort of, you know, it seems almost exponential growth in the amount of, you know, in the show itself and the number of people actually coming along. Do you think that the sort of trajectory of deer stalking is still kind of on this meteoric rise that we've seen in recent years, in the sense of, you know, that it's become such a popular sport? Do you think it's still coming up on the rise, or do you see it sort of plateaued out now?
Personally, I'm very positive about the future of it. For a number of reasons, and I'm not going to go into the political aspect of it, but yes, I am very positive, because it is part of the countryside and rural sports that is completely and utterly justified, and we can and we as hunters can justify what we're doing. You know, we harvest something from the countryside that is wild. And again, I've got to choose my words, because I don't want to say the wrong thing, because I'm a lover. I've grown up with the countryside. whatever sport it may be in the countryside, I'm a great advocate of. But deer stalking in particular, we harvest a wild animal from the countryside. We kill it, cook it, eat it. It's completely and utterly natural. You can't. I've been told I can't use the word. What is it? Organic, because these animals are completely free roaming. But but they are natural, so they have their own natural environment. And I just see it that it's a very sustainable, ethical, and I think it's just a great way forward. I work in my pastime. I work for a guy called Winston Churchill Venison and Stalking, and when I started there over 30 years ago, working with Winston and Angus and Paul, we started there, and we had literally a handful of guys come in to do a bit of deer stalking. Now Winston is literally beating them off with a stick, and that is, I think some of that is probably because on the back of the Stalking Show, more and more come in, because he does the venison products there at the Stalking Show. But equally, the popularity of it, I talk to deer stalkers now through the Stalking Show, of what we've created every day. I talk to the gun shops, I talk to the ammo guys, I talk to the optics people, I talk that, and we're still on the rise. Where it will end, I don't know. But at the minute, we're certainly on the crest of a wave, and still heading for us in the right direction. So
I thought you'd just let something slip about the 2024 Stalking Show when you said the word rave, and I was about to be like, is this a new feature of the show, David? Like on Saturday night, it all just the lights go off and it goes wild.
There is a little shindig on every Saturday night at the Stalking Show. You two guys will be invited, because you are our VIP guests. But we do normally very, very kindly, once the general public and visitors have left, we do have a nice little shindig. We have some very nice food. This year, we're going to have some food from Jose Suto, the chef, and Rachel Green, the celebrity chef. They're going to cook us some very nice venison products. The bar will be open, and you two guys will have a first-class ticket.
If we weren't already excited enough about the Stalking Show, we are even more so now.
Absolutely.
It's literally the highlight of our year, David.
Yeah,
I hope so, and I truly, I really hope that lots of people look forward to the show, and from me and the team, if we can achieve something that everybody looks forward to coming to, sticks it in the calendar, and it's just sort of a slot in the calendar every year, then we've done our job right, and that's it. So that's the way we need to go.
So if the show has grown from, do you say 94 stands the first year to 250 now, 2 years later? Because I think when we recorded this podcast last year, you said you'd book Staffordshire Showground basically every year for the next few years. Do you have if it keeps increasing at that size, do you have space to keep having it at the Staffordshire Showground? Or
yeah, well, really good question. It comes back to what we were just talking about. Where does the growth level out?
Yeah.
And we've been completely and utterly blown away by what comes out of the woodwork. We get an inquiry and think, where the hell was that? I've never heard of it. And it was, it's something really interesting and good. And we think, right, yeah, we need to get that. We're even having calls now from, say, companies like Garmin, from America. We had a call a few weeks ago, Garmin, they haven't actually nailed their themselves to the cross to say they're coming this year, but they're making inquiries. They're hearing about the Stalking Show, which is phenomenal for us. A real massive American company, and they're getting in touch with us. Yes, and quick answer to your question, Tom. Yes, we have got a little bit more room at Staffordshire County Showground. There are another couple of halls. We've extended into a third hall for 2024, so a completely brand new hall. So we've got Bingley Hall currently, where we've been hall number 2, where you will have seen in the past the Really Wild Kitchen and the Kitchen Theatre and lots of more. That is completely rammed full. The big hall was rammed full. The balcony around the top was a new thing last year. That's completely full. I've got no more room on the balcony. And we're in a third hall plus the balcony, which is called the Presswood Centre. So we've taken that. We've very kindly asked Staffordshire County Showground that we enjoy being there because it suits what we want to do. We've booked Staffordshire Showground until 2030. So we've, you have to be ahead of the game. So we booked that, and we've booked it on the proviso that we are the only operating event over that week. So we will basically move in on the Tuesday, Wednesday prior to the event. Build up happens over those few days running up to it. Event is on Saturday, Sunday, and breakdown on Monday. So and I can't say how will it level out? It's got to, surely it's got to. But we do expect a few more stands to come in over the next few weeks. We've got about that much room, which is not much left. So I can't honestly answer, but yes, we've got a bit more room. We've got 2 more small halls.
It's an amazing venue, isn't it? The Staffordshire Showground. I never realised there was even more halls to the one that was already there. It's incredibly versatile. You can just tack extra bits onto the side. Yeah.
There's linkways that go through from Bingley Hall to these other 3 halls. It's a pretty vast place.
Yeah. It's a great place for it as well. It's a really nice central place. Good car parking. We love a bit of car parking.
The one thing I need to figure out, because I'm sure there must be, is where the nearest McDonald's is. Because I say that because on the Saturday night, Harry and I got a bit drunk, and we found ourselves wandering around the local streets trying to find something that would serve us some food, and we couldn't find anything. So we went back to our very sad travel lodge and
cried ourselves to sleep.
You were clearly in the wrong place, guys. If you'd have been with us at Staffordshire County Showground, and you'd have just hung on and stayed back. We were last year, 2023. We were serving up burgers of our own, burgers and venison. So you missed out. I don't know what happened.
There we go. We must have missed that.
We'll have to remember that.
Yeah.
Don't talk to me about McDonald's. Not when you've got venison.
This was like 1 o'clock in the morning. I think everyone else had gone to bed, and we were hunting around Staffordshire.
We went right through. We went right through. And we just literally opened the doors again at 8 in the morning, and away we went.
Right, this year. So in that case, we don't need to book our travel lodge for this year. We can just stay at the showground on our stand straight the way through.
Bring your sleeping bag.
Yeah. I personally, along with the security guys, because we have to be super security sensitive, obviously about what's in those halls, very expensive, and firearms and and ammunition. So I actually sleep within the hall as well, and have a couple of drinks on the night before, and then stay in the hall overnight. So along with several others. So you're very welcome to join us.
We will see you there.
That's very kind of you. We at the last podcast we did, we had a bit of a debrief about how the first Stalking Show went, and because obviously it was the first one, and I imagine obviously it was massively nerve-wracking. What was the second one like in comparison? Did you sort of, were you a pro at this point and you just sort of cruised through it, or was it still incredibly stressful?
No, not. Do you know what? That's a really, really very good question. For the simple reason, I speak to people now, and what is it? 10 months since the last show, and people, I still have people that I know very well, and come up to me and say, "Oh, saw you at the last Stalking Show," and they are completely erased out my mind, simply because I couldn't tell you whether they were there or they weren't there. For the simple reason, I get so focused and so sort of like I don't know, fired up, all the rest of it, anxious. I'm just, I love it, but it does age me very much.
Are you able to enjoy it, David, or
No,
is it just
not at all? Not at all.
Oh,
no. There's so many things I want to go round and order and buy, and I'll have that, and I never get the chance. I never get the opportunity. And the only time I get a chance to walk round is at 2:00 in the morning when everybody's gone home, and we do have a little walk round at 2 in the morning as with the security ads, and I look at those and I look at the knife rifles and I say, "Oh, that's good," and look at that, look at that. Nobody's there. Sort of the mind is clear. So yeah. But no, honestly, I get so into the zone, and people, everybody, making just making sure it all runs tickety-boo. Everybody's happy, people coming in, things are ticking along nicely. You've got the chat room theatre, you've got the kitchen theatre. All the guys that do everything are great. They're wonderful and also positive. But even though I'm just, I just love it so much. I need it to run how you'd want it to run. So yeah. So
well, whatever you're doing, it seems to be working, because the last two have been, like clockwork. They've been so smooth. There's been nothing that I thought was,
Well, if I wrote a quick memo book afterwards, you'd have a shock.
Well, no, because you're dead right in that when you very kindly allowed us to have a stand, we were chatting to some of the people that we work with in terms of like brands and companies, and I got chatting to Fox Bullets, who are based over in Europe, and I said to them, I was like, "Oh, we're going to a kind of a show here in England. You may not have heard of it. It's called the Stalking Show." And they messaged straight back and were like, "Yeah, no, we're coming this year." And I was like, "What?" And they're like, "Yeah, no, we're coming to visit because we might think about having a stand next year." And I was like, "Wow." And they were like, "Yeah, no, we've only heard good things about it from anyone who's ever been. Like, they've said it's just like a flawless show, absolutely amazing." So your reputation precedes you, David.
Well, do you know what? That absolutely just gives me the massive. But I was and I don't know what the hell we've done to deserve all this, really, other than just doing something that we all want. I was lucky enough to be in Portugal last week with Sakut Wild Harvest, Sergio. You'll know him. He comes to the Stalking Show, and I went out there and I was on a wild boar hunt, and we bumped into on the same hunt there was about 15 or 18 Danish guys. And we got chatting. I took some bits and pieces out, some stickers and all that, just stuff, just giving away and all that. And these guys that were from Denmark, never been hunting, never been to the UK. We got these jackets on with the Stalking Show. Obviously, we're promoting. There's 3 of us, and we got these jackets with the Stalking Show on. And the guy walked up to me and says, the Stalking Show. So I said, yeah.
Yeah.
These are people. How the hell do people hunters in Denmark get to know they've never even been hunting in England or in the UK? And they straight away, yes, we heard about that. We must come one day. Now, whether they do or they don't, that's fine. But just the fact for me that those guys know about it in Denmark,
Yeah, that's
fabulous.
incredible. That is absolutely incredible.
That is awesome.
I don't know, you know. Coming back to your question, Tom, where will we finish up? Where will it go? You know, my dream, I always said right from the word go, was to get our friends and our brothers and sisters to come from Europe. You know, I've got this big thing about wild boar and driven hunts and all the rest of it, and I want to bring more and more of that to the Stalking Show. Hopefully you'll see a little bit more of that running through the show when you come this year.
So big question. Would you ever think about trying to run the Stalking Show somewhere else? As in, obviously still having the one in April at the Staffordshire Showground, but would you ever try and do another one, like a sister event in, say, I don't know, Germany, France, Austria, or somewhere like that? Or is that a step too far?
No, a brilliant question. Outside the UK, yes, 100%. Yes, if that was an opportunity, who knows, but not another one in the UK. We thought about moving it about. We thought about, would it be better with lots of people have said to us, would you bring it south of Stafford? Would you go more down south? Would you take it north? I wouldn't say, never say never. Always a possibility. As I said, we're very happy with Staffordshire County Showground. They're wonderful people to work with. They're, nothing's too much trouble. So we've then got to find a venue that is equally as good as that or better. That's the big challenge. But back to your question, yes, but only outside the UK.
Yeah,
it's once a year. Stalking Show is once a year, and that's it in the UK. There's absolutely no point in running another one, say in the autumn or another time of the year. Not a chance. It wouldn't work. It takes 12 months to put together. It would be, but I definitely think there is room. We intend to go to 1 or 2 European shows next year. That's our goal. And to have a look what our neighbouring people get up to, because I see it as just neighbours now. The world's a very small place. We flew out of Luton last week, and we were in Lisbon in 2.5 hours.
Yeah, no, it's lovely, isn't it? I think it's a fantastic thing to be doing, to push these links with Europe and other hunters in other countries, because there's so much we can learn, in terms of the way that other, hunting communities do things. And, maybe we're a bit guilty of being quite kind of closed off to all of that sort of stuff in these sort of English, UK based deer stalking world. But there's so much we can learn from people who go boar hunting and, all other like German hunters, especially, like they've got some amazing ways of doing things that are just incredible to experience. And yeah, absolutely. It'd be amazing to have some European kind of brands and companies come and share their knowledge and kit and God knows what else with us. And I think likewise, we probably got some things that they haven't used before or heard about. Mm-hmm. So no, I think that's incredible.
Like you just said, Harry, the knowledge of what have you. I was in Portugal for the first time I'd ever been on a driven hunt. We were shooting wild boar, red deer, and fallow deer, and it's very, very different to the way that we do it in this country, because we're all stalking. Driven hunting is banned in the UK, or is not feasible. But it's the right and proper thing to do on the continent, and it works very well. I saw something that again I thought worked incredibly well, in the fact that they're not only shot I use the word harvested. That wild product harvested again. Everything was immediate. All the animals that were shot on each day were immediately processed, in the right and proper manner, called, and then they were off to game dealers or to eateries or wherever, restaurants, whatever. They were off to dealers to be distributed out and about. I just thought, I just think it's wonderful in which, that we harvest these animals, and so if we can bring Europe to us, fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, David, an unfair question for you.
Yeah.
If you had to tell someone what they should be most excited about for the Stalking Show 2024, what would you say that is? Is there something happening in the theatre that they should come and visit? Is there a new stand that, I don't know, really kind of you can't wait to go and see at 2:00 in the morning? What is it that should get someone there?
Well, I have to be careful what I say because the stands that come to us, and you know what, it's an event that you can walk round and you can stop at every stand and say, look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that, and already we've been blessed with really high quality stuff. However, new for 2024, I'm very, very, very excited about some small things. Might be small things. First of all, we have a wonderful Scottish piper opening the show. So this guy is coming from the Isle of Skye. He will pipe the show open. He will also be piping a combination of the two now. He will open the deer calling competition. So we have, and I expect Harry to be.
He chickened out last year.
Did chicken out last year, but
I forgot my improvised deer calling apparatus in the excitement
and the rest of it. So we've done quite a bit of work on the deer calling competition because it was a bit of a hit last year. First, I believe it's the first sort of deer calling competition in the UK, proper one. So I'm quite excited about that. So the piper from the Isle of Skye will open the show, and then he will also signal the fact that the deer calling competition will start. I can't remember if it's 12 or 1 o'clock, but thereabouts, lunchtime. We'll have 3 classes. So there'll be a youngsters class, boys and girls, great. We're going to try and do a ladies class, but maybe we shouldn't. But there'll be a ladies class and a gentleman's class. They'll be on 3 days. Over 2 days. So you'll have 3 classes on each day, Saturday and Sunday. So everybody gets a chance to have a go. You can have a few bevies and kick your mate and go on, get up there and go and have a go, Tom and Harry. So I've got some wonderful prizes. I've got Swarovski binoculars, and I've got Leupold scopes, and I've got all things. These are all donated by the companies. So I'm very excited about that. We're going to have a great big screen up this year, a sort of monstrous 3 or 4 meter screen by 3 meters, whatever. And we'll have some big speakers, and we'll have a camera so that will be transmitted straight back to the screen if I can pull it all off. And then it'll be in front of the bar area. So hopefully it'll be lunchtime by the time the fact, as I said, 1 or 2 beers will have gone, and it's just lots of fun. And so that's one thing that really does float my boat and is a big buzz. We've got a Swedish company coming called Game, and it's GAIM Game. They are a VR company. They're linked to Aimpoint. You put these fancy goggles on. They have been in the UK before, but they're so you can practice wild boar shooting in your or running driven game in your front sitting room. But we'll have a big screen up for those, and then you can have a go at that. So I'm pretty excited about that. And one last thing I'm very excited about is in the Really Wild Kitchen. We've got Jose and Rachel I wanted to bring, again, more interaction with the visitors. So we're going to have 5 tables in front of the theatre, and we'll have chopping boards on there or cutting up boards. And it's been sponsored by Flint and Flame, the knife makers or knives. They have given us all the bone-in knives and that. So the competition will be 5 contestants come up, they register their name, they break down a muntjac haunch, put the muntjac haunch into various muscles. So they break it all down, and there'll be 10 contestants, if you like, on the Saturday, 10 on the Sunday, 2 heats and 2 heats. It's not against the clock or anything like that. You just register your name, you come up, you break down your haunch. It's very straightforward. Jose will show everybody how to do it to start with. It's like a bit of a masterclass and the competition. The 5 winners over the 2 days will get to keep 2 knives. They'll get a boning knife, a pro boning knife from Flint and Flame, and they also get the pro filleting knife that they've been using. So they get to keep those, and the 3 overall winners, first, second, and third, will receive a unbelievable, really nice prize. Which yet I am to decide where all these prizes actually go to.
Unbelievable. That sounds great. Well, Tom, you are the muntjac master, so I fully expect you to be getting involved in that.
Tell you what, if you do the stag calling, I'll do the muntjac haunch.
That's the deal.
Tom, Harry, it's all for free. All you have to do is come up with a bit of Dutch courage and do it. There's no, you just put your name down and come up and do it and roll the dice. You could walk away with a $2,000 pair. There was last year, for instance, we had, I don't know whether you guys saw it, but there was a young boy. His dad said, go on, son, walk up. And there was an 8-year-old boy came up to the stage. He blew a stag through a hose pipe, piece of pipe it was. And the crowd sort of like cheered him that much. I said to him, okay, there's your winner. All the guys did. And we had a pair of $2,000 binoculars, Swarovskis, and it was a Pulsar, I don't know, Fandango thermal. And he chose the thermal. He went away with that. He was 8 years old.
Bloody hell.
But this year, we'll have even more prizes. As I said, Viking Arms have given us an absolutely amazing scope with a rangefinder and everything built in it. I don't know, that's 1,500 quid, $2,000. We've got a $2,000 pair of binoculars just in the cupboard in there. I've got Emberleaf knives. So I expect you two will be. You can't speak.
Oh yeah,
absolutely,
yeah.
Can't wait.
Well, if that isn't enough reason to come, then I don't know what is. David, thank you so much for your time as ever. I'm sure with pretty much, and not to panic you, 2 months to go. I'm sure you are absolutely run off your feet at the moment. So really, really appreciate you taking the time to chat to us. For anyone that hasn't been to the Stalking Show before, you're an idiot. You need to come. It's on I'm getting this right, aren't I, David? The 13th and 14th of April this year, Staffordshire Showground. Free car parking. We'll be there. Whether that puts you off or encourages you to come, I don't know. The best show that Harry or I have been to for years. You've got to come. So we look forward to hopefully seeing you there. David, thank you very much for your time. If we don't speak to you before, we'll see you on the 13th.
Absolute pleasure, guys. And again, thank you so much to you two for the continued support. And a pleasure, an absolute pleasure to have you there.
Really looking forward to it, David. Have a lovely evening.
Thanks, mate. Thank you both. See you soon.
See you soon.